Hello everyone, myself Kunal Karkhanis. I am heading the digital banking division at Saraswat Bank. Under digital banking there are a lot of aspects which are covered. The payment system, the innovation, re-engineering and the analytics space. So today I am going to talk about the analytics which are used in cooperative banks basically. About the usage, about the aspect, use cases, what are the phases, what are the types. So that will be the topic under coverage. Today I am going to talk about analytics in cooperative banks. So in banking, basically in cooperative banks, it is not left to only accepting deposits, giving loans, giving advances. So it is all about traditional business which has already gone. So it is more about innovations right now. How to cross sell, how to upsell, how to increase the value of the business, how to increase the value of our customers, how to serve our customers in a better way. So that is all about analytics. So that will be basically how analytics will be used in cooperative banks. Let's see today, and that will be our focus topic for the today. Okay, so when I say of analytics, what is banking? Banking is nothing but it is banking. In fact, the cooperative bank is sitting on a gold mine. We all are sitting on a gold mine, but only thing is we are not mining. We are not mining out the gold from it. We are just sitting on the piles of mines, piles of gold, everything, but without use. So how to make it use? It is not about mining. So what is the tool which will be used for mining? So the tool is the analytics. And how effectively analytics is used for business in a cooperative banks, let's see it together. So to start with, what do you mean by analytics? Analytics is surrounded nothing about the data. It is just like assimilating data, integrating, converting, interpreting the meaning of the data. So what is that? So data is nothing, anything could be a data. Account open can be a data, a transaction could be a data, a conversation can be a data, a advertisement can be a data. So it is all about data. So how analytics will work? First it will assimilate the data, convert into a meaningful purpose, and then interpret the data to find out the insights. So basically what analytics does, it finds out the potential thing to redefine the banking. So any data, any hidden value in the banks is explored to find out what things can be leveraged, what can be brought in from that, what are the insights, what could be used for that, what is not to be used, what has to be alerted, etc. So that is something which is analytics bringing that. So basically analytics does what? It studies the past trend. What is the data? Data means it is a historic data. It could be historic data, it could be present one, and it could be future predictable sort of thing. So analytics does, first it scrutinizes the past data, tries to identify what are the trends, how the data is moving, how the score is moving, how the customer preferences are changing, how the customer behavior is changing. So they try to find out, analyze the past data. Then they understand the present, what is the requirement of a customer, what is the banking requirement, how banking will be useful for the customers. So that is what they find out, how to use it to the maximum use. So that is understanding the present of the data. And then to predict the future based on the past trend, current insights, and they predict the future. What type of, what products will be used by the customers, what services will be utilized by the customers, whether the customer is going to stick with the bank or going to move out, whether the customer is going to give new business or he is going to withdraw the business, whether there are any delinquency which is going to happen today, whether there is any delinquency which is going to happen in future. Everything is predicted based on the analytics. So analytics basically in cooperative banks has lot of immense importance in the bank. So once who leverage the analytics, he is really on the forefront. One who leaves the analytics will be left behind in the business. So all cooperative banks has to embark on the analytical journey. So today we'll see the further part. So this was all about analytics. Let's see why analytics is required. Basically why analytics is required for banking. So everyone says analytics is required for technology, analytics is required for healthcare, analytics is required for education, analytics is required for private banks, but why it is required for a cooperative bank? So in a nutshell we'll find out what all things is required. The first one is to acquire more customers. Every cooperative bank has an ambition to grow, but how they will grow? They cannot grow with existing customers, so they need to acquire more customers, and that to youth customers. They need to find out who are their potential customers, who are really going to stay with them, who are really going to give the business to them. So that is we call as acquiring more customers for the bank. So cooperative banks basically works to acquire more customers. So how to find out to acquire more customers? So that will help us analytics. So basically we can find out who are the customers, who are the applicants which are approaching bank, or with the other way, which are the applicants where the bank can approach them. Can you open an account with a cooperative bank? Can you take a loan from a cooperative bank? So that is more about acquiring customers. The second is increasing the value of the customers. Increasing the value, basically it stands for, suppose a customer who has stayed with the bank for 3 years, who's maintaining a AQB of 20,000, 50,000, whatever could be the hypothetical the value, but how to increase the value, how to get to learn from them, how to get to earn from them. So that's more important. So why not give a CASA product, give a loan product to them? Why not sell an insurance to them? Why not sell a mutual fund to them? So that is increasing the value of the customer, because finally these are the basic needs. How the economy grows, the customer preferences also grow, the customer income also grows, everything has grows. So why not increase the value of the customers by offering multiple products like cross sell, upsell, everything we can find out. So that is second aspect, is the increasing the value of the customer. The third aspect is the most important, retain the existing customers. In the journey of exploring new customer, the most important is to retain the existing customer also. We need to satisfy their requirements, their basic needs of banking by the cooperative banks. So they need to retain their existing clientele base also. Otherwise it may so happen that you are acquiring new customers, you are leaving the existing one. So it is net to net thing. So rather, how to retain the existing customer, how to understand their requirements, how to fulfill their requirements, how to address their requirements, that's more important. So retaining the existing clientele is also the most important. To understand the customer behavior and their changing preferences, because customer is not going to be static all throughout the banking journey. They might change their preferences. They want technology, they want technological products, because everyone, it's like a WhatsApp moment of the banking. Everyone wants to be on a mobile phone. So why not get into mobile banking, offer multiple products through mobile banking, offer cross sales through mobile banking. So that is the change in the customer preferences. So you need to understand how the customer behavior is changing and then offer a product which will be suitable to the customer according to his preferences. So it is more of understanding the customer behavior and their changing preferences. The fifth one is enhancing the customer experience, improving the customer experience. Today, think of a time when a customer used to stand in a teller counter withdrawing cash. Now customer don't want to stand in a teller counter. They would prefer an ATM, just swipe their card, take out money, go away, or use a debit card on POS machine, etc., and transact. So that is giving an enriched customer experience. So analytics helps us to find out how the customer experience can be enriched, how the customer behavior, to understand the customer behavior and give a offering product to that. So enriching the customer behavior is also very important. The seventh one, the most important, is meeting the regulatory requirements, because there are a lot of things. Banking is nothing but it is just a regulatory office. You need to report this to Reserve Bank, you need to report this to FIO and everything, all compliances are there. So how to meet regulatory requirement, that's also most important aspect. So today analytics nothing but just churning out the customer data, but also to find out whether there are cases of laundering money, whether there are cases of suspicious money, whether there are any cash going in and out of the system. So that is also can be brought in to the table with the help of analytics. So it is also required to meet the regulatory requirement as well as the compliance issues. So they need to find out whether analytics can be used for compliances also. Then to achieve cost effectiveness, very important, because analytics, when you talk of analytics, when we get into analytics, there is obviously certain cost involved. There are lot of expenses which has to be turned around this thing, but how to optimize that, how to use it to the best thing. So it is all about cost effectiveness. So analytics can bring some beautiful insights to the banking community, wherein they can say this product is not yielding very good results, so why not discontinue the product or re-engineer the product, which will bring to the customer, wherein they can use it to the fullest extent and the required yield would be met. So that is about cost effectiveness. So it is not about bringing down the cost, but how to generate the revenue from the existing product, existing services, existing processes. Redundant and processes has to be removed. So analytics should also bring in certain insights wherein certain processes, certain things has to be discontinued. Then analytics also used for risk management, because risk management has to be a very core focus area in today's banking. Banking is changing day by day. Every new product is launched, every new compliance is there, technology systems are changing, payment systems are coming, everything. The banking dynamics is undergoing a lot of change. So why not use the analytics to do a effective risk management? Because finally risk is inherent in any business. So as is like in the banking also. So it cannot be ki banking is left out of the risk ambit. Risk is always a inherent. So why not use the analytics to do a effective risk management? So how effective risk management? So it is more of the liquidity thing, ki how to manage the liquidity of the bank, how to manage the interest sensitivity, how to move the interest, how to bring down the interest, which products which has to be invested for, which long term view has to be taken, the short term view has to be taken. Everything is done through the analytics space. So it also helps in effective risk management, not only managing the market risk, the credit risk, but it also helps to manage the operational risk of the bank. So it is all about internal risk, superior risk management. Then meeting the internal objective. What is the internal objective? Basically, in a cooperative bank, there is objective is increasing the top line, increasing the bottom line, and increasing the shareholder value. So that's more important. So how can it be done? How it can be done? So analytics also plays a big role while achieving all these things in terms of internal objective. So which are the products which are really doing good in which area? So that why not focus more thing on those areas, and the areas which are laggards, so why not discontinue those products from those area? So it is also helped in with the help of analytics to find out which are the things has to be brought in, which has the changes has to be brought in, and which has to be discontinued. So that is all about thing. Then it is about promotion and sales of product and services. So analytics also helps us to understand. For example, in a traditional thing, in a historic data, we find out the print media is doing really good for certain products. So why not do a print media in those areas, or TV advertisement in those areas, in urban areas, in metro areas, wherein the usage or the visibility has to be more important. So analytics also help us to place the product in such a way that how the better promotion, the better sales, everything will be taken care. Then there is a comparison, because finally when we do analytics, we need to compare the past, present, and also predict the future. So there has to be historical data which has to be compared. So how was the trend going, whether the trend is aligned with the industry, aligned with the cooperative industry, aligned with the entire banking industry for it together, or whether it is left behind. So that is also playing a crucial role. So analytics is all those things, all those objectives is required to do analytics in cooperative bank. So as I mentioned, analytics is working more from a data or information which is captured in the banking entities. So let us understand how this data, how this information is captured, from where all the sources these things will be captured. Because unless there is a structured data, unstructured data in a meaningful format, you cannot run your analytics engine, because that is the core heart of the analytics. The data or the information, the meaningful data or the information put together in a interpreted format is more for an analytics perspective. So we will understand what are the sources of analytics. The first one, the bank accounts. The accounts, the customer accounts which are maintained with the bank. Maybe it could be a liability product, could be a advance product, could be a deposit, etc. CASA, say term deposit, the mutual fund, the prepaid, etc., etc. These are the accounts maintained by the customers with the bank. So that itself provides a big data. So it mentions who are the customers, which type of products they are invested, what is the age group, etc., etc. So bank accounts, the customer accounts maintained with the bank is the primary source of the data, the first one. The second one, the transaction pattern, the transaction which are being conducted by the customers in day-to-day activity, by taking loan, by withdrawing cash from ATM, by swiping the card, while working on online, by UPI transaction, mobile banking. So this is a transaction pattern. So the second information comes from the transaction data. First is the balances data or the products data. Second comes from the transaction data. So this is another source of information. The third one is the customer's demographic information. Demographic information, I mean to say the gender, the area where he is residing, the official address, where he is working, where he has a business, the date of birth, the income criteria, the educational qualification. This is all about demographic data. So in a nutshell, the customer accounts, the products which has customer been selected, the transaction pattern, and the demographic information forms 90% of our data. Forms the 90% of data on which the analytics can be built up. So these are the things which are readily available with the bank. So this is the basic structure wherein the analytics engine could be run. But there are other sources of data, other sources of information which also has to be brought under the umbrella of analytics. So what are the other sources? Let's see that. The fourth one is the credit score. Very crucial. the credit score or a CIBIL score or a CIC score, what we talk. So it is the most important score which is required, because that itself gives the pattern of the customers. The customer may hold a deposit account with you, a customer may hold a loan account with you with a good balance, with a good repayment track, everything, but that customer may have defaulted in credit card or a personal loan segment in some other bank. So that credit score or the CIBIL score or the CIC score gives us the lot of insights. So that is another source of information for the analytics. It is just a feed for analytics, whether which product has to be pitched to them. It also says, tells you whether the customer has banking with multiple banks, as enjoys a banking with multiple banks, or whether he is only loyal to your bank. So that is also something which you find out from the credit score. The fifth one, which is really upcoming, is the social media. Everyone is trying to gather the social media information, obviously with the permission of the customer, but they try to find out, capture the tweets, the posts which are there being posted through social media. So they are trying to capture that also. So that is also really valuable information. Take an example. On a social media, a customer tweets ki I am hospitalized, so why not give them some assistance in form of unsecured lending or a personal loan to meet their requirement. Maybe a customer might post something, he might go for a travel plan, so why not offer a travel loan. A customer might post ki my daughter or my son has graduated in this streamline, so why not offer an education loan. So social media insights are also really been taken to find out analytics, and really tomorrow the social media is going to play a major role, because most of the customers personal information, or what you say, unclassified information is posted on social media which banks don't have access. So why not read those information and suggest a product, come out with a product, inform a customer ki why not take this product for the customer. So social media information also is playing a big role. The sixth one is the information which is coming through TV, newspaper, radio. So maybe it could be an advertisement of your peer bank, it could be a product launched by your peer bank, it could be a statistics given by the regulator, it could be a banking industry statistics, it could be a information, everything. So TV, newspaper, radio feed is also taken as a source or information for analytics, because that is also going to play a big role. Because finally we have our certain trends, but if the newspaper or the print media says that this type of industry is undergoing a lot of trouble, so why not take a necessity action. If steel industry, hypothetically example, a steel industry is undergoing trouble, so why not find out our exposure to steel industry, why not take some remedial action, why not take some corrective action over there. So print media is also one source of information wherein we get lot of feeds from social media. Then next comes the competitor information. So basically we have our own balance sheet, we have our own profit and loss, we have our income statement, expenditure statement, everything. But whether we are at par the banking industry, so this information can be found out from the competitors published information. So every cooperative banks publish their accounts in their newspaper, whatever, could be annual accounts, quarterly accounts, whatever. So why not analyze those data? If our income statement states this thing, what our competitors income statement says, but what is the product mix of our bank vis-a-vis our competitors. So that is also a part of analytics. So why not study those information and bring out certain analytics for that, whether the competitor is also on par, above us or below us. So that competitor information is also a good source of information for the analytics. So it is also very good source, because finally since we want to sustain in the banking industry, we need to analyze all type of things. So we need to find out the potential competitors, the potential upcomers, everything. So that is also feed for analytics. So this is also a very good source of information which analytics can leverage on that. The last what I feel is the common databases, wherein there is a KYC database, common KYC database, common fraud databases, common sanction list, ban list, everything which is maintained by regulator, everything, etc. So that is also a good source of information, because finally at the end of the day we don't want any customers from those negative list. So why not take those information as a feed to our data and run an analytics engine, whether are there any such customers within those categories, whether they are enjoying any facilities with us, whether they are holding some important deposit with us. So that is also source for the analytics. So all these sources, the customer accounts, transaction pattern, the demographic, credit score, social media, print media, competitors, fraud data, everything sourced, every data taken into one source, and running analytics will give us a comprehensive view for a cooperative bank. So these were all the sources of data or making analytics a successful one. Now, the biggest question for any cooperative bank is how to make this analytics operationalize, because finally it also works out how to this analytics will be made operationalized in any cooperative bank, because saying analytics, many things about analytics is one part, but implementing those things, those areas in our bank or any cooperative bank is a bit challenging. So how to operationalize? The first and foremost thing, setting up the required data and technology infrastructure, because analytics cannot run on your MS Office. Basically, you require a good technology infrastructure, you require a data infrastructure. So the first and foremost is defining your data owners. Who is going to own which data? Whether they know whether they are owning the data. So first defining the data owners, then defining the data structure, what data is meant for what. Because without any data, without those information, you cannot run an analytics, because for system it will be just like binary 1 and 0, nothing else. But finally it is more important is what data implies what. So defining a data, then you require a technology to bring this data under the analytics ambit. So you require the required technology also. So that is the first and foremost, understand the data, defining the data, the required, and running the technology infrastructure above it. Unless that, you cannot run a successful analytics. So that is the first and foremost thing which you need to run. Second, breaking down internal silos. So internal silos, I mean there are a lot of things, compartmentalized jobs done in cooperative banks. No one wants to get into a comprehensive view. So every section of a cooperative bank, every branch, every department, every back office activity are compartmentalized. So breaking those internal silos first of all. So everyone in a cooperative bank need to understand that analytics is going to be change the entire banking ambit. So let us work together to make it a successful project. So second is, and the foremost is, breaking down the internal silos. That's more important, because unless the silos are broken, no one is going to accept the product. There will no acceptability, there will no cohesiveness for the product. So you have to understand that bringing all elements, all people together for making analytics a very successful project. So that is second of breaking the internal silos. The third one is analytics driven decision making. In cooperative banks, as we understand, most of the decisions are taken due to the past experiences, or maybe the expertise of the fellow men who are taking a decision maker. But gone are the days where the decisions were taken by a couple of people. Now analytics should be the foremost and the basic thing which will decide the decision making power of any organization or a cooperative bank basically. So analytics should be meant for taking decisions. It should give us the required input, it should give us the required results, the way, why it is happened, how it is happened, everything, and then the analytics journey can work. So internationalizing the analytics for driven decision making should be the most important. So that should be the clear cut thought process for that. Then leveraging the third party providers, because analytics is something a cooperative bank cannot have a inherent knowledge or skill set for running analytics. So you need to leverage the third party providers. It cannot be a couple of teams sitting at cooperative banks can think we can develop this and come out with some product and this will be driven by analytics. That cannot happen. You need to leverage on third party providers, because there are a lot of providers, technology providers, which are really providing on a really open source softwares are there, wherein they can leverage, they can run the analytics and give us the beautiful results, a dashboard or sort of thing. So you need to leverage on third party providers. It cannot be everything can be cooked at our home. It cannot be taken place in cooperative banks. So you need to leverage on third party providers too. Then finding out the insights, because finally the acceptability for analytics will come once the insights are drawn from the data. So data is there, analytics sitting on the data, and it starts throwing out the insights. Okay, what has to be done? What is the best part? What has to be done? What could be the things? So once the insight starts coming, then only analytics would be acceptable to everyone. So finding out that insights from the data is the most crucial part of the analytics thing. Then the last but not the least, so everything is now placed, the analytics has started working, analytics is giving us the insights, but now these insights, now these actions, everything has to again feed as a form of data for analytics to find out whether we are on the right track, whether the back testing has been correctly, whether the testing has been correctly done, whether the results, whether the predictions, whether the assumptions has been correctly done, and the required insights is gone. So analytics will give you x, y, x, y, z, x, y, z, x, y, z sort of thing. But finally, implementing those results again as a feed for analytics is most important. So that is the key area wherein most of the banks miss out that. Analytics, they find out the insights, this, but again the results of the analytics is not fed to the system to find out the required results. So that is also most important criteria for finding out the analytics. Let's go by phase of analytics now. The first phase of analytics is reporting or descriptive analytics. So most of the people in cooperative banks has been working on this. It is nothing but it is just purely talked of a MIS reporting, but MIS reporting not meant for your regulator or a senior management, but it is bit detailed wherein a descriptive sort of analytics is done. So basically descriptive analytics is nothing but it mine the past data to visualize and understand what has already happened and the fact. It sits on the existing data to find out ki this things has happened, this is the outcome. So basically it is more of a MIS reporting, more of a what has happened reporting sort of thing. So it is descriptive, we call it as descriptive or reporting analytics. So reporting analytics is basically used for MIS reporting for your statutory reports, senior management, your regulatory reporting, etc., everything has been done. So that is called as reporting or descriptive analytics. So there are quite examples of descriptive reporting or analytics. It is first is the customer lifetime value. So what is customer lifetime value? Basically customer lifetime value is the relation of the accounts maintained with the bank with the required value of the accounts is called as customer lifetime value of the bank, of the thing or the bank. So we understand that this customer is enjoying a loan, car loan with the bank, has a saving account with the bank, has also taken a prepaid instrument with the bank. So we can get to know what are the products he has taken and what is the value of the product. So we call it as customer lifetime value of the at the bank. The second example is customer profitability. So that is very crucial. A customer holding a balance of 1 lakh, take an example AQB of 1 lakh, but he is more spending in cash, he is withdrawing cash, he is depositing cash, whether he is a profitable customer or whether a customer is holding a AQB of 50,000 who is transacting digitally. So who is the most profitable customer? A 50,000 customer or a 1 lakh customer, 1 lakh balance customer. So that is also understanding the profitability generated from each and individual customer. So that comes under the descriptive analytics. The third one is campaign analytics. So campaign analytics basically, if you want to run a home loan campaign, so who are your potential customers to whom the home loan product can be offered? So that is also comes under the reporting or the descriptive analytics. So we call it as a campaign analytics. There is one more example of product portfolio dashboard. So what is product portfolio dashboard? Take an example, there is a ATM is a product. So which are the ATMs which are above the break even, which are the ATMs which are under the break even thing. So you understand there is a dashboard wherein all your ATMs are listed and they show the profitability of each ATM. So that is also important to product portfolio dashboard. So that is also comes under the descriptive analytics segment. So let's move on to the next phase of analytics. So this is, I am sure this is done by most of the banks. So we'll move to the next phase, which is called as diagnostic analytics. So what is diagnostic analytics? Diagnostic nothing but to diagnose the insights from the data or the information or from the event. So diagnostic analytics is form of advanced analytics which examines data or content to answer the question why did it happen. So this is basically required for your fraud analysis, your data discovery, data mining. So it sits on the data, it sits on the content, it sits on the information, and the analytics engine finds out why this pattern has been taken. So the feed is from a descriptive. The phase one gives us the feed. These products are really successful in this area. Then the diagnostic analytics works on that and find out why this product was successful. So finding out the data discovery mechanism, finding out the data drilling mechanism, finding out the data mining information. Everything is done by the diagnostic analytics. Basically, diagnostic analytics is mainly required for your fraud examination, investigation sort of thing, negative thing, finding out suspicious activity. So that is required as a diagnostic. So it really works on that and find out whether this things has happened on what basis. So that is called as diagnostic analysis. So that is the second phase. I'm sure few banks might be working on this front also, but I don't know what is the success ratio what they have achieved, but there are banks which are really working on this. Let's come to the third phase of analytics. The third phase is called as predictive analytics, which is really upcoming thing. So predictive analytics is nothing but what it does, it leverage the past data to understand why something has or happened and to predict what will happen in the future. So basically, if you see the first phase was producing the data what has taken place. The diagnostic analysis, the second phase is why it happened, and the third phase of predictive is what will happen in future. So it is like past, why the past has taken place and what is going to happen in future. So now predictive analytics is really like predicting the future, which is really very most important for any cooperative bank, because finally banking is dynamics are changing day by day. So everything is evolving day by day. So why not predict things? Which product is going to sustain, which product is going to wipe off, which product is going to be above profitability, which is going to win loss. So that is about all predicting the future. So basically, in terms of predictive analytics, the first thing comes is the customer segmentation. So finally, if you want to predict any product or any service which can be offered, first you need to understand your customer. Who is your customer? What type of customer is his? What preferences is it? So that is called about customer segmentation. So first you need to segmentize your customers. On which bucket they form? Age-wise analysis, gender-wise analysis, area-wise analysis, income-wise analysis, education qualification-wise analysis, profession-wise analysis. So all this comes under segmentation. Unless you know the segmentation of the customer, you cannot offer any product. So that becomes the crucial part of that. Once the segmentation is done, then you can predict which best product can be offered to these people. So which are the products which can be really offered to this type of customer. Take an example, a youth customer. Why not offer a vehicle loan or a two-wheeler loan? A customer which is in mid-50s, why not offer some education loan? A customer which is in the 35 plus age group, why not offer a home loan? So that is all about segmentation and the preferences. So once you do the segmentation, next comes the which product, which offer, which things can be given to that customer. The third one is product mix modeling. Basically, any product mix. So there is always a tweaking happening in any product. A product cannot be static throughout its lifetime. So product has to go through its journey. So it is initiation, development, upcoming, everything is there. So while defining the journey, there has to be mix modeling to be done in the product mix. So what type of tweaking, what type of offers, what type of cross offers, upcoming products which can be offered and make this product as a sustainable. So that is also done with the type of predictive analytics, what is going to be take place. So this is the third phase of analytics. The fourth phase, or what we call as the last phase of analytics, is called prescriptive analytics. The word prescriptive itself says what has to be done. The prescription, basically it talks about what prescription has to be given to the customer, basically like a doctor giving a prescription to a patient. So bank also needs to prescribe anything for your customer. So prescriptive analytics is to determine which decision or action will produce the most effective result against a specific set of objectives and constraints. So basically, as we understand, diagnostic gives what is there, descriptive gives what is there, diagnostic has given what was the result, what was done because of this. A predictive is predicting the future. Now prescriptive is customer. So predictive analytics provide this set of customers are probable customers for vehicle loan. So in vehicle loan, then the bank will play a role of prescriptive. If you are going for a vehicle loan, why not go for this variant of car which is really sustainable for 5 years? Why not go for this type of model, so which is really upcoming? So that prescriptive part is also coming up. Take an example, a customer is looking for a home loan product. So what portion of will be financed by the bank, what portion will be brought in by as a margin, which will help him to save more tax, is done by the banking by giving prescriptive descriptions to the bank. So prescriptive basically stands for bank giving inputs to the customer. This has to be done. So which will really achieve the win-win situation for both of us. So certain examples of prescriptive analytics are determining regulating economic decision effect on credit portfolio. Basically, because take an example, suppose there is a hike in the charges or hike in the government revenue in typical type of industry. So predictive analytics will tell you that this industry might undergo a bit delinquency. So once we get the alerts that this industry is under delinquency signal, so why not approach those customers and give a prescriptive advisory to them कि do these things which will really help you to sustain in this downturn of the government decision. So these are the also economic and regulatory decisions also going to play a major role on your portfolio of the bank. So why not give a prescriptive sort of thing, advisory sort of thing to those customers which fall under the ambit of this certain regulatory decision. Then basically there could be a predictive analytics will give a feed that this many customers may default on their repayment or maybe future repayment. These are the customers which are really going to delinquent, which are going to default on that. So why not approach those customers and give a short-term financing to them? If you're not able to service this, why not take a short-term financing, or why not recall those advances? So this is done through the help of a prescriptive analytics. Then comes social media based product offering. So in social media there are a lot of inputs coming. As I said social media is also a source of information for analytics. So it is also giving certain insights to the analytics. So why not leverage that part also? So on social media maybe our customer might require XYZ products. So why not prescribe them, advise them, go for these things which will really help us to come. And if there is a financing requirement, if there is any banking requirement, why not bridge those gaps? So that is all about understanding their social media come and offering a product. So basically analytics in 4 phases, if you understand, one is the descriptive, the second is the diagnostic, the third is the predictive, and fourth is the prescriptive. So most of the cooperative banks are still under the first phase, the descriptive one, because they are mostly in the MIS reporting, regulatory reporting, senior management report, still under those ambit. So we always suggest to cooperative banks to move from the descriptive to diagnostic and diagnostic to predictive, because these are the 3 first phases which has to be embarked. And the 4th prescriptive, once you get the required maturity in the predictive sort of thing, then you can get into prescriptive sort of thing, analytics. So first 3 has to be done by any cooperative bank to sustain the competition, to leverage on this, to find out the insights of the data, everything. So basically we'll understand certain use cases in while, since we have covered what is analytics, what are the sources of data, what are the types of analytics, where it is useful, why it is required for banking, everything we have understood. So if you want to get into the analytics space, just make a strong use cases, because unless there is a strong business case, none of the management will agree for analytics. So why not find out certain use cases which will help us the banks to leverage on the analytics front. The first one is most important is the customer segment. As I said, customer segmentation is the most foremost, because unless you know your customers, know your customer is nothing about understanding the KYC, understanding customer acceptance in terms of money, AML, money laundering sort of thing. So that is PML Act, that is gone. But it is more from understanding who is my customer, whether I am tapping the right customer, whether my customer is the right customer, whether I am more leveraged on the low income strata, whether I have good HNI, whatever could be. So segmentation plays a major role. So basically you need to segment your customers age wise, gender wise, income wise, qualification wise, profession wise, etc., product wise. So which customers are using which product, because unless you segment your customer you cannot find out the thing. So that's more important. So you need to first segment your customers, that's important. Then analytics also helps us to give personalized marketing. So gone are the days one size fits all. In cooperative banks also, you cannot offer a same product to n number of customers. Maybe if you're offering a home loan, can you offer a home loan to your minor? No, obviously not. Can you offer a home loan to your senior citizen? No. So home loan should be offered to a typical youth customers, where earning customers, or you are the potential to make a repayment. So you need to do a personalized marketing. So it is all about getting into the customers now. So personalized marketing is also going to play a major role, because it is all about segmentation, key understanding the customer, who is our customer, and offering a customized product. So that is called as personalized marketing. Then analytics will also help you to do fraud detection, because that is really giving sleepless nights to all management of the cooperative banks. Whether there are any potential fraud taking place, whether there are frauds which will be unearthed after few months. So that is something which analytics will really help us to understand whether it is a potential fraud, whether the fraud has taken place, whether fraud can be mitigated, whatever may be thing. So analytics is also really helpful for finding frauds in the banking industry, and frauds are really very bad for any cooperative bank. The next one is analytics can help us to achieve compliance and regulatory requirement, because finally analytics gives us the good insights about our data. So this are the data, this are the reporting thing, these are the suspicious thing. So this is all about analytics can really be helpful for your compliance and regulatory requirement. Then analytics is required for integrated risk management, because if you want to do integrated risk management across the cooperative bank, across the organization, analytics is going to play a major role for that. Then comes product and service strategy. So analytics will help us to define your product and service strategy. So which type of product has to be placed in which type of area, which services has to be offered to your HNI, which services has to offer to your minor customer, which type of services has to be offered to senior citizens. Everything is dependent on your analytics feed. So analytics will give you the behavioral pattern, the customer preferences, everything, and the way you can work on that. Then understanding the customer lifetime value and profitability. If any cooperative banks want to understand what is the value of those customers, what is the profitability, what is the revenue generated from those customers, what is the cost incurred on serving those customers. So analytics can really play a big role in understanding that. Then campaign. If you want to execute any campaign, if you want to promote any product, if you want to place any product, so analytics will really help us to understand which products, which campaign, which things has to be really be promoted on which media, on which channel, where it can be promoted. So analytics will also give us a good feed about that. Then comes the next best offer. So every customer enjoys multiple products with the bank throughout his journey. So once he takes a X product, so what would be next best offer could be offered to that customer is a big question. So that also can be leveraged on the basis of analytics and the underlying data for that. So you can always say, yeah, customer, for this customer, this would be the next best offer, this would be next best product, everything can be done. Then comes the delinquency analysis. So as I said, analytics is also required for fraud detection. Analytics is also required to understand if there is any potential delinquency happening in our credit portfolio, whether there will be a future delinquency, whether there will be a downturn in the credit portfolio. So that will also be helpful with the help of analytics. Then comes the understanding suspicious pattern. So if any bank want to understand whether there are any suspicious activity happening on their customer accounts, whether there are any laundering cases happening to their customers, so analytics will also help you to achieve that, to find out whether there are really things going adversely in the cooperative bank ambit, in the environment, the ecosystem. Analytics will help you. So these are the certain use cases which can make a strong business case to present to your management why analytics is required in cooperative banks, because unless analytics is leveraged in cooperative bank, you cannot go ahead. So that is also required. So analytics plays a major role in understanding the cooperative bank ins and out. So it is all about understanding the ecosystem of the cooperative bank, everything. So that's more important. So this was all about analytics for cooperative banks. So there are fellow bankers who has raised certain questions. So the first amongst that is, what parameters need to be considered before adopting analytics? So before understanding adopting analytics, the first thing is creating a strong business case. Why analytics is required? First, bringing in buy-in from all the stakeholders of the cooperative bank, all the department heads, all the senior management has to be on a single tone. Why analytics is required? So making a strong business case for the analytics is the mantra for before going into any parameterization or considering the analytics. So that is one part, the first thing, making a strong business case. Second is getting the buy-in from all the management of the cooperative bank, all the senior management, all the executive committee, everything has to be on a single tone where analytics is required. The third most is the cost aspect. To because any technology innovation or implementation comes with a cost, so you need to understand what cost would be incurred by the cooperative bank, whether they want to go on a capex model, whether they want to go on an opex model, whether they want to go on-prem model, whether they want to go on a cloud. So that is the strategic decision they need to define based on their rate of return on investment, what things they need to do. The third most aspect is the understanding the cost. Fourth, there has to be a clear-cut strategy across the cooperative bank. Analytics is going to give the feed for the decision making, because unless the decision making has the feed of analytics is not going to be. It is just like a Excel reporting or the MIS reporting. So analytics should give the feed for the decision making. So these are the 4-5 things which you need to consider: creating a strong business case, taking a buy-in from the senior management, executive management, understanding the cost aspect, and fourth is the usage of that. So once these all 4 parameters considered, you can really go for adopting analytics in cooperative bank. The second question is asked, what is the return on investment after adopting analytics, with example. So basically in the initial years, initial or I would say a couple of years, in the initial couple of years, the cost would really go high, because bringing analytics or exploring analytics or starting analytics comes with a cost. You require the good skill set, you require the human resource, you require the technology platform, you require the infrastructure setup, everything. So initial couple of years the cost would go high, but thereafter the returns would start coming. Basically you can understand whether, if you want to really judge, you can understand whether how is the delinquency analysis going on, whether there are delinquencies going up or whether the delinquency is flat or going down. That will be a measurable aspect. Whether you are acquiring more customer or whether you are retaining more customers, you can understand that. So analytics could really provide you the insights. The return on investment cannot always be a tangible, but it could be a tangible, whether there is a better customer service, whether the products are really pitched, whether the customers are retained. So that could be a feed for that. So ROI is really dependent on the successful implementation of analytics. But believe me, first couple of years there will be really a cost. Thereafter it will start generating revenue for the bank. The third question which has been come is relation of analytics with selling products on social media. So how analytics is used for selling products on social media? As I said, social media is also a feed for analytics, because social media data is also taken as one of the data source for analytics, because that's very crucial. So relation of analytics is basically, unless we take those data, unless we understand the customer's social preferences, you cannot place any product. It is just taking his demographic data and giving some offer, but that may not be relevant. But understanding his social activity, understanding his social media activity, understanding his preferences, understanding his changes in his life, everything will really help us to give the next best offer. So analytics is really closely working with the social media data source also. The fourth one is, how can cooperative banks adopt analytics considering capital constraints? So that's really crucial, because any technology or innovation for a cooperative bank comes with a cost, and if there is a cost, the management would definitely ask you what would be the return on investment. So that's really crucial. So to understand that, to overcome that, so what would be the best part? So basically there are really open source software in the market today, wherein which can be leveraged with the help of software, wherein you can find out the good insights from the analytics. So you need not invest into huge cost software wherein analytics would be run, or mainly typically licensed one. So it could be open source software also can be help to find out the insights. The second is, why to invest on infrastructure when you can go on cloud? Why to take everything on our premises when you can pay per use thing? So cloud is also, you can explore the cloud aspect also. So why not go for a cloud implementation wherein you need not invest anything upfront? It will be just like pay per use. The data or the resources which are used can be leveraged for analytics. So you can really adopt those models, and if that is not working, you can really come back to some different model. So you can explore the open source, you can explore the cloud model, everything. So that will really help cooperative banks to leverage the analytics. So thank you everyone. So this was all about analytics for today. but really we see to it that every cooperative bank has to get into the analytics, because that is the way ahead for any banking industry. Thank you.